Hello friends, it's Chops and welcome to another Chops vlog. It's getting to be a little late on a Sunday night. I wrapped up a nice evening of Battlegrounds with the boys a little while ago and decided I'd knock this out before I went to sleep for the night. It's been a busy week for the 39. We've been working on kind of shoring up our skills and stuff. We worked on some cooking. We got fishing maxed out, and then we also, check it out, fished up our sea turtle mount. That took us from I think skill level 275 to about 450 out in Howling Fjord, fishing pools for that mount. And then we also got our titanium seal of Dalaran from fishing in the Dalaran fountain. That was, I need to kill these guys, don't I think. That actually did not take me nearly as long as I thought it would. It only took about 4 hours. I was kind of expecting that would take a couple of days worth of work. Pleasant surprise there. Now I'm questing for Dalaran reputation. Because, and y'all are going to laugh at me, but it's because I started playing with sound on again for the first time in 12 years. And the clop, clop, clop of my RAM mount is kind of annoying. It's very, overwhelming at times. It's just clop, 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 clop. And I don't like it. So I'm going to get me a cat mount from Darnassus rep. That is a much softer footfall. It's got little soft kitty pads. So I'm working on that for right now. And I'm taking this opportunity doing these extremely low-level quests to also level some of my oddball weapon skills. I got unarmed up to 195, got thrown up to 195, working on my two-handed swords. We'll go into one-handed swords in a bit, and then two-handed maces and all of that. These low-level quests are a great time to do that. So that's kind of what we've been working on. I don't have any grand gaming theory or anything to talk about this week. Having a great time in Wrath. Rise did ask on my last video if I could talk a little bit about the differences and similarities between 20s on retail and 39s on classic. And I think that's a really good question, because I remember saying very early on in Shadowlands 20s that the bracket reminded me a lot of Wrath 39s. And I stand by that statement because the feel and attitude of the brackets is quite similar. And by that I mean they're both about the same distance to max level. 20 was a third of the way to 60, and then 39 is, it's really more about half of the way to 80, but not quite. And so because of that, every class feels like it has a pretty similar representation of abilities for its level. Let me rephrase that a different way. The brackets feel, or the classes feel like they are they feel like they have the same level of toolkit development. That's the phrase we're looking for. As in its respective level of toolkit development, right? Because classes in retail, at least in Shadowlands, were a lot more streamlined than classes in Classic, right? And classes in Classic are still actually a little messy. You've got your specs were still a little looser And so, like, you had, say, a melee shaman at 39 might also have a pretty solid healing toolkit. And yeah, they're not as good of a healer as a resto shaman is, but they're still, a good enough healer. But then, like, an LA shaman at 20s was, I had 2 heals and they were out of mana. Pause for just a second. So yeah, what I mean is that the classes are a very similar development relative to where they are at the current at their iteration of endgame. 39 Wrath 39s feel similar to 80s as Shadowlands 20s felt to Shadowlands 60s. That's kind of what I was going for, was that they had that same kind of attitude, but they're not, I never intended to imply that they were exactly the same, because they're not. And one thing that really got me kind of questioning my assessment was this night of arenas that we had played with a couple of the guys in the guild, and I can't really put my finger on it, like exactly, but arenas feel drastically different in Wrath 39s than they did in Retail 20s in Shadowlands. And I'm really kind of struggling to articulate what it is about them that feels different. And it's something I'm going to have to think on for a while. And I really want to take some time and play some more 39s arenas to get a grasp on, because I want to do Rise's question justice. I think it's a good question to compare and contrast sort of what a lot of us think of as the pinnacle of twinking, Wrath twinking in general, especially 39s, with sort of what twinking became at the end of life. And I think that that's a useful exercise to kind of think about, what did we like about it? What didn't we like about it? How did it change over time? And so I want to be able to do that justice. And to do that justice, I need to kind of like put a pin in this question and come back to it after I've got a lot more arenas under my belt. So that's kind of where the head's at. That's kind of what I'm thinking about as I kind of work on maximizing my 39 here. So look forward to me talking a little bit more about that over time. I'm also going to try to get some more arenas done so I can put together some arena videos. I know people like gameplay videos a lot, so I'm going to try to bring some of those to y'all. I just need to get some videos that are see, how do I put this without making myself sound terrible at the game? I need to do some arenas not against rogues and mages. We played those arenas. I watched the videos back because I did record some of them, and you guys would hate them. It's me sitting in a stun lock for 2 minutes, or me sitting in polymorphs and frost novas for 2 minutes. I just get CC'd to death. Some of them are very good games. Some of them have some great plays in them, but most of those feature me dying, which is, you throw a couple losses in your videos, but nobody wants to watch a video of all losses. That also kind of sucks. So I'm going to try to get some more good matches in, maybe some matches that have a little more, back and forth in them. Turns out a couple of my guildies are really good mage and really good rogue. So I'll play some arenas against some opponents who are a little more on my level, and we'll get some arena videos out. That'll be a good time. So look for those too. Also, if you didn't catch it, I posted a sort of gear walkthrough, various gear and talent builds for 39 Warriors. If you're curious, that video I'll put that right there. You should go check that out. Though I bet you have, because it's one of the few videos out there that I have that has more views than I have followers. So, excellent. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to y'all next time.